All right, here we go. Another heavy-duty question. Hi, Steve. I just saw a cover of an old pay-per-view from 1997, and you had the gimmick gold earrings in on the cover. Somewhere along the line, you dropped those. Was that a conscious decision on your part? Did someone suggest or force the change? What was the deal? Regards, Ted in Portland. I tell you what, Ted, I don't remember the specific reasons as to why I stopped, wearing the earrings. I'll never forget. If I've told this story before, hit the fast forward button. I was just breaking in the business of professional wrestling. I had never, ever once considered piercing my ear because I was a regular, just straight up, kid from South Texas. And I never pierced my ear. But I get in the pro wrestling business and you want to look a little bit different and you kind of want to, push your envelope a little bit. So you think about getting your ear pierced just for the gimmick. And so I pierced my ear, and I used to love to wear one of them old crystal earrings that dangled from my ear. Looked like shit, but I thought I was the coolest motherfucker in the world. I had long blonde hair, a goddamn little dangling icicle from my ear. I was pretty jacked up. And my dad used to have a fishing trip every single year. For almost 50 years, my dad has had his annual fishing trip in Port Connor, Texas. I was on the road, wrestling for a living for about 3 years. I hadn't made the fishing trip in many years, but I finally had a break in my schedule, so I figured I would go down and see the guys. Now, in attendance were about 25 or 30 of my dad's closest friends and some of his guys that he knew from the insurance business and some of his clients. And all of them were extremely wonderful guys, and they were really tight. And they would go out there, and they'd have about 10 fishing boats, and everybody load up in boats, and they'd fish all day. And then they'd come back, and the guys would take turns cooking, and then they'd have their drinks, and they'd fish for about 3 or 4 days. I walked in there with that goddamn gimmick earring on, and my dad looked at me, and he ain't never seen me with an earring in before, and he goes, "God damn." He goes, "Is that an earring in your ear?" And you gotta understand, this is about 92, man, maybe 93, and in the wrestling business, an earring in your ear wasn't nothing but a thing. But all of a sudden, when you're out there in Port Connor, Texas, a town of about 1,500 people at the time, all your dad's friends around, and you show up with an earring, and they're all very conservative, you don't look like you belong there. And so he called me out in front of all of his buddies. Now, he wasn't trying to call me out or try to punk me out. That's just how my dad was. And he said, "God damn it." And then what I'd started doing, of course, since I was a pro wrestler, I started shaving my legs too. And then all of a sudden, his eyes went down to my legs. He goes, "Did you shave your legs?" And I'm like, well, God damn, I just rolled up and this motherfucker ain't been here in 3 or 4 years. And my dad's calling me out on the fucking gimmick earring and the shaved legs. So anyway, fast forward all those years, I got into WWF, and I figured, man, them gold gimmick earrings would kind of set me off just a little bit. They kind of look cool. But when I look back, I never needed them earrings, and I never wear one to this day. I probably haven't worn an earring in, I don't know, 14 years, 13, well, shit, I've been out of business since '03, and I hadn't wore one since 10 years before that. So, dude, I don't do the earrings anymore. I ain't got nothing against them. I was just trying to set myself out and be different. Here's another little earring story for you. One time, I got that outer rim of my ear up at the top. I got like 5 of those little BB studs put in there. And I got them all put in. I said, boy, all these things around the edge of my ear are really going to set me off and make me a star. Well, I got the little stud heads in there. And I was working with a guy that night in the ring. And when you get your ears pierced, you can't take that piercing out because it's got to heal up before you remove that earring. So I worked that night with a guy, I can't remember if it was Bobby Eaton or somebody else, and he was working a headlock. Well, all that irritation on the side of my goddamn ear made my ears swell up so much that those earring stud heads went inside my ear, swole that motherfucker up. So I said, "Hello, hey dipshit, E equals MC squared, motherfucking dumbass. Take them goddamn earrings off your ear. That was a bad idea to begin with. Now you about to get your goddamn ear infected and get that son of a bitch sawed off by a surgeon. So that's how I got out of the damn earring business. You know, and again, that was pre-Gold Hoops WWF. But you got to understand this also. I was trying to push the envelope when I came into WWF because it was so goddamn basic. You know, just like I told Vince a long time ago, 6'2", 255, black trunks, black boots, no hair and a goatee. You know, and I'd already I already was fired for being not marketable. So I'm just trying to bring a little bit of pizzazz. It's like Arn Anderson, the one and only enforcer. Arn Anderson told me one time when I dressed up for a gig in WCW, he goes up to me and he goes, Hog, he goes, I'd worn a suit. I'd worn a sports coat and put on some nice pants because I was trying to present myself in a more professional light. You know, maybe someone would notice me and give me a push. And Arn sidled up to me, and Arn is the king of the one-liners. Underneath his breath, he goes, Hog, you dressing up is like trying to put mag wheels on a dump truck. Meaning, if you got a dump truck and you put mag wheels on it, it's still a fucking dump truck. So whether I was wearing a suit or whether I was wearing a pair of shorts, I am what I am. And he stated that loudly and clearly, and I understood exactly what he was talking about. Now, here and there, I will get dressed up on occasion, and from time to time, I can clean up pretty well. But I am exactly what I am, and Arn Anderson pointed that out to me. I tell you what, I love to talk to Arn Anderson on this podcast because he is the king of the one-liners in the dressing room. Dean Malenko, probably a close second, or you got 1A and 1B. But Arn had a tremendous career and was a very big influence on so many of the guys in the locker room today. And, of course, myself, growing up, man, if I'm doing cardio, you get that mid-1980s NWA stuff going, and they was running roughshod, beating the fuck out of people and getting heat. So, Double A, I'll catch you down the road. Hopefully we'll get a chance to talk soon. I appreciate the question there, Ted.